Hey guys, welcome back to the shop. Today we're going to be working on the Colorado, or sorry, the Canyon. It says Colorado on the tailgate. Either way, it's got a 6-liter. Alright guys, so today's next job, or this week's job I guess, 2006 Canyon. He's a little rough in some areas, but it is less swapped and it's a hidden sleeper. So let's get this thing in the shop and give you a rundown of what it is and a rundown of what we plan on doing. All right guys, so now that we got the truck in the shop, as I just showed you outside before we pulled it in there, said sweet truck, works good. Neat little setup on it. Power to weight ratio is definitely in favor. And again, as I said, it's only a stock 6-liter. The gentleman that owns it does have Caltrax on it. He has done some work to the rear suspension just to make sure. Jeez, they're sticky. Jeez, look at the little burnout, eh? Otherwise, a stock 6-liter 317 heads. It's a 4L80E transmission. It's not listening to that beep the whole time. Under the hood of the old girl. So basically what we're going to do today, we're going to start to strip the top end apart. We're going to get as much off it as we can, get the fluids out of it and so forth, so we can get it ready to pull out. She's still a little cloudy in here from that run to Mexico. Oh wait, I'm in my own house, I don't even gonna say it's Mexico. But he does run a nitrous shot on it, a Zex kit. It does have 75 jets in it right now. We are going to bump those up as well. So in the meantime, I'm going to keep you guys hidden from what we're doing to this. Let's just get it out first, and then we'll toss everything on the bench and show you what we plan on doing. So away we go. Just getting some stuff taken out of the motor here. As I mentioned, does have a Zex nitrous kit. The way they fed the nitrous was going into basically just the banjo of the feed line over a crossover tube over to this. That's something that I'm gonna recommend either we replace in a different orientation or just change totally, because the downfall is the truck makes 58 psi of fuel pressure, and when you jam on that nitrous injector, that nitrous is now pulling fuel. So if that isn't actually making the corresponding change to ensure that our injectors are still keeping the same pressure, we're essentially losing fuel in the cylinders. So something we got to take a look on. Thankfully we got a wide band, so we can really narrow that down, make sure that's not going to be an issue, but that is something that I'm going to recommend to Eric that we do change. Not a huge fan of stealing fuel from the main line, so for nitrous, but let's keep moving on. Alright, so got the washer bottle out, overflow bottle out. All this side of the stuff is cleaned up. All the wire harness has been flipped to this side of the engine. As you can see, the mess over here. We'll get all that organized once we get the intake and the motor to the place. The owner does want us to clean the bay up, so we're going to vacuum it all up, get all the wiring harness out from inside, get everything off the firewall, and then we'll give it a spray at the same time. So Basically from this point though, we are going to clean up, getting the intake manifold. I already got the bolts off, so we're just gonna take it out, and then we can start the process of getting the front accessory drive off, the last radiator hose, and then kind of everything underneath so that the motor can come out. So let's get back at her. So front drive's off. Next line of business is going to be getting manifolds off. As you can see, they're pretty tight to the edge of the frame line here on both sides of the control arms mount. So we are looking for a set of headers that will fit this. If there's anybody that has put headers on a Canyon with an LS in it, let us know what we can use. I know there is a factory 5.3 Colorado Canyon, but I don't know if they make any aftermarket parts or if you just use LS1 stuff. So either way, we're going to go at manifolds now. I'm going to jack the truck up so that we can get the bolts undone for where the collectors meet. Then we'll get those out of the way, and then it's starter, flywheel, or sorry, torque converter bolts, bell housing bolts. Out she comes. Get the truck jacked up. Next process we're going to do is getting the starter down, get the manifolds or the collectors off the manifolds undone so the manifolds can come out, and then we also got to go down and get the converter bolts out, bell housing bolts, support the transmission, motor mounts. Motor should come out. So that doesn't seem like a very short list, but it really is when you think about it. So as I mentioned, first thing I'm going to go at right now is just getting the manifold studs out. I just got to hop onto the truck to see what the bolt sizes are so I can get those out of the way. We are putting new headers on, so these are going to the garbage. That sounds getting annoying. Either way, then going to go at getting the starter down to get the converter bolts. You do have to go through the starter hole to get the converter bolts on these. So yeah, let's go at her. I'm not sure if you can see this here, but see the flashlight shining here. Basically, starter hole's back here. The area in which you're aiming to get is to get the converter bolt in the hole of the starter. So then you can just go up there with a 15 mil, suck the bolt out. You're gonna go back on the end of the snout of the crank with a 15/16 socket. Spin it over so you can see the next bolt. Take that bolt out. There should be maybe 6 of them on this one. Some of them are 3 bolts. All depends on what he's got in for a converter here. I can definitely see 1, so we know we got 1 to take out. But if once you get those out, that basically separates the converter from the flex plate. You're good at that point to take the bell housing bolts out. I didn't get the manifold bolts out because they're all stripping. I'm hoping I can get this motor out with the manifold still in place. Worst case, if I got to strip the heads off it before, I'll do that. But we should be okay. So. Alright guys, motor is almost out. Got Ryan here helping jack away. Got everything disconnected. Had a little bit of an issue getting the motor separated from the bell housing, but we did get it done. Oh, she comes. Actually, just one sec there, Ryan. I'm gonna do this last couple plugs. Alright guys, motor is out on the stand, got the old block on the floor there, and we're going to go ahead and get this one disassembled here shortly, but in the meantime, I'm probably going to clean the bay out first, just to get it stripped of all the parts so that we can get it prepped for paint, and then, yeah, hopefully the camshaft shows up Monday, Tuesday, and we can get the motor back together, and hopefully by the end of the week, this could be running again. Dirty nitrous burnouts, right? Alright guys, that's it for today. I appreciate you following and subscribing to the channel. Keep an eye out on Instagram and Facebook for channel updates, let you know when the next video is being dropped. In the meantime, we're going to get the bay cleaned up, engines on the stand, we'll have that taken apart shortly. And as you can see over my shoulder, some Brian Tooley parts. Keep track for the next video that will go over the parts we are installing on this 6-liter and what our expectations are with what the client wants. Till then, chat safe, drive safe.